Lawyers led by Chairperson James Kihara and a section of residents supported calls for all judges and magistrates facing integrity issues to step aside and allow for investigations. Similar calls were made in Busia.
Kama uko na makosa, sheria ichukue mkono. Kama hauna, urudi kazi. Lakini hakuna venye wewe kama judge ama magistrate uko na kesi, una kesi za watu wengine na wewe mwenye uko na kesi.
The relationship between the judiciary and the advocates and also the litigants deteriorate sana. So we are saying ya kwamba judiciary has to wake up.
A confrontation unfolded at the Nakuru Law Courts after members of the Law Society of Kenya Nakuru chapter disrupted court proceedings that continued despite lawyers' national boycott over alleged judicial misconduct.
The judiciary right now, as it stands, there is a clear lack of competence, and there are systematic inefficiencies to how the judiciary is conducting itself.
Meanwhile, the judiciary maintained that court operations remained uninterrupted in Eldoret, Kisii, Busia, Mombasa, Nakuru, Nyeri, Meru, Nairobi, and the Court of Appeal. The judiciary says it's committed to upholding the rule of law. This as the Kenya Judges Welfare Association has called on the Law Society of Kenya to immediately suspend its targeted boycott of court proceedings, warning that the action risks denying thousands of Kenyans access to justice while undermining confidence in the judiciary.
Welcome back. You're still watching In the Headlines on Good Morning Kenya, and you're bringing you up to speed with all stories that have been making headlines in the last 12 hours. And Kangema's Senior Principal Magistrate Martin Kenywa Mutegi has been relieved of his duties following his arrest by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission over bribery allegations. Chief Justice Martha Koome in a statement said administrative and disciplinary proceedings have commenced against him, promising to assist the anti-graft body with its investigations. At the same time, she reiterated that the judiciary remains on a zero-tolerance policy on corruption and unethical conduct. This comes as the Law Society of Kenya led a boycott court proceedings on Wednesday, accusing the judiciary of graft. Ben Chumba reports.
In a statement issued Wednesday, Chief Justice Martha Koome said the allegations against the judicial officer are grave and, if proved, amount to a serious violation of the law, the Judicial Code of Conduct and Ethics, and the constitutional values that guide the administration of justice. The Chief Justice further said while they were entitled to a fair trial, the judiciary will not shield any judge, judicial officer or member of staff accused of criminal or unethical conduct. She said judicial authority is exercised on behalf of the people and must be guided by integrity, accountability, impartiality and transparency. The administrative action follows the arrest of the magistrate alongside Principal Probation Officer Julius Irungu Njogu during an undercover operation mounted by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission in Kangema Township. Investigators allege the probation officer approached a Muranga businessman acting on behalf of the magistrate and demanded 150,000 shillings in exchange for a favorable probation recommendation and a non-custodial sentence. The duo were reportedly arrested while receiving the funds from the complainant.
We are very keen that, please, justice cannot be for sale. Justice is priceless. And this is the last frontier. The courts are our last frontier where we seek refuge. So please, 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 kindly dispense justice as it's supposed to be dispensed.
EACC says investigations have also uncovered additional complaints involving alleged interference with court processes.
Now from the courts to the counties, where the government has established a multi-sectoral committee to review and align Kenya's laws with the 2010 constitution, chaired by Kenya Law Reform Commission Chairperson Christina Agimba. Now the committee will identify unconstitutional, obsolete and redundant statutory provisions as well as recommend reforms.
Following reports of panic withdrawals from the Boma Yangu savings account, Housing Principal Secretary Charles Hinga has moved in to clear the air, saying statutory withdrawals as at 30th June stood at 803 million shillings and not 2.56 billion as has been claimed. According to Hinga, 1.76 billion was converted by members into deposits for home ownership. Of these amounts, 1.6 billion shillings was applied as buyer's deposit for Park Road units.
63% of that 2.5 billion money that they're calling a refunded, is savings that were applied to people that bought the first housing scheme in Park Road. So those who allocated money in Park Road, they took the money from their savings wallet and put it in the deposit. They were allocated, and then that money is gone. Then there is another 139 million, which is 5.5%, that has gone for other units now outside Park Road.
The PS assured the public that their savings and houses will remain safe regardless of the government of the day, noting the long-term national initiative intends to expand home ownership and create jobs across the country, with efforts ongoing to ensure every home owner gets a sectional title.
And we are working very hard to make sure that by the time the house is ready, you will have your own sectional title.
A sectional title is just like a title deed. Once it is in your name, even if a government changes, you continue owning that home.
He cautioned against politicization of the affordable housing project.
It's only bankruptcy of idea, where 1 minute, it's like a slogan, all affordable housing because it is popular when you're looking for votes. Then you come back and you say, no, if I can get my chicken up there, then affordable housing is not for us.
So far, over 1.2 million Kenyans have registered under Boma Yangu, with over 300,000 housing units under construction.
We are going to complete 45,000 units between now and December, and another 15,000 between January and June next year. For the Mukuru housing estate, the demand is extremely high. We've had 24,000 applicants for about 13,000 units.
Clearly, as we mentioned, you can visit our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke, to find out exactly what that committee that has been charged with aligning the devolved units policies with the Constitution 2010 has had, or rather has picked out in that particular process. And what you have just watched is just the government, that is the Department of Housing and Urban Planning, coming out to refute claims that there had been some massive withdrawals from the affordable housing project. Now that quickly takes us to business, where SBM Bank Kenya has reported a 171% increase in profit before tax to 548 million for the 6 months ended June. Now, customer deposits rose 24% to 94 billion, while net loans and advances grew 18% to 54.1 billion, signaling increased lending to households and businesses. Chief Executive Officer Batesh Shah says the results demonstrate the success of the bank's strategy to strengthen earnings, improve risk management and build a more resilient institution. The bank also reported a sharp improvement in asset quality, with non-gross performing loans ratio falling to 17%, down from 34.4% a year ago.
Which 2026 results, which was a profit before tax of 548 million shillings, which grew year on year by 2.7 times. We've seen our deposits go up by 24% to 94 billion shillings. We've seen our lending to customers going up as well. We've seen our transactions going up as well. So we've seen a diversified rise in almost all of our income lines. So there has been a concerted effort, particularly over the last 2 years, to reduce the NPL ratios. That's resulted what I'd say is in quite a dramatic reduction in the last 2 years. So we've revamped our IT infrastructure. At the beginning of June, we upgraded our core banking system as well, which gives us a lot more capabilities as well. So our focus would be on our transformation agenda, which is led by digital, which is led by our flexibility and our innovative product offerings. So we'd expect to see a lot more of that and to see a lot more momentum on what we've launched this year as well.
From business to sports, Harambee Starlets have intensified their preparations in France ahead of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations set to kick off in Morocco on Sunday. The Kenya national women's team started their residential training camp in France on Wednesday last week as part of their final build-up before traveling to Morocco for the Continental Showcase.
Harambee Starlets have been drawn in a challenging Group A, where they will open their campaign against host Morocco on Sunday before taking on Senegal on July 30th.
Personal goals zangu kwanza, mimi ni winger, a lot of crossing. If God atan bless, nikipata bao for my team, itakuwa plus for me. Of course, it's a tournament ya kwanza mimi ku-attend, so na expect more from me. Nifanye tu shughuli yangu juu makocha wameshanipea yenye wanaweza.
They wrap up their group stage fixtures against Algeria on August 3rd. The top two teams from the group will progress to the quarterfinals scheduled for August 8th and 9th, where they'll face opponents from Group B, which comprises of defending champions South Africa, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso and Tanzania.
Tumetrain poa, training facilities pia ziko poa na tunazidi tu kujipush tukijua tuta-achieve goals zetu.
With more than just a continental glory at stake, the Starlets will also be chasing an historic place at the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil, with all semi-finalists earning automatic qualification for the global tournament.
So as your true sports partner, we're going to be showing WAFCON. So we can say WAFCON Eco KBC. So do keep it to the weekend. Let's see what our Starlets can do in that opening global showpiece. I'm Regina Manyara. I hand you over to Mike Megwe for the next conversation on leadership and governance and what the young people have to say in regard to this. Then after that, we know this is a new Friday right here on Entertainment Thursday. Have a pleasant day ahead.
Mkulima wa wiki hii ni mwanamke bomba aliyejitosa katika kilimo biashara.
Chakula yao ya kwanza tunapatia saa 12 asubuhi. Ya pili tunawapatia saa 6 mchana. Alafu ikienda kidogo mpaka saa 9 hivi saa 11 tunafunga mambo ya chakula. Lakini maji inaenda throughout. Kwa sababu kuku ni maji.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1. Tuangazie ufugaji wa kuku na faida zake.
You revive! Yeah, right!
Nice.
Let's now welcome Team DGDA.
And welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migu. We are glad that you're still watching KBC Channel 1. This is Entertainment Thursday. And the first segment on air is Future Voices, where we give young people of this country a chance to contribute to matters that shape national discourse. Now, today I want us to talk about matters that regard the era of coalition politics in Kenya. We've had many coalitions since 2002, and they have been shaping the way political parties merge, how political parties come together to form a coalition that probably propels them to the presidency. And for that conversation in studio, I'm joined by Kate Mutiso. Kate Mutiso is a political analyst. Karibu sana to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you.
And also I'm joined by Daniel Oduor Obeto. Daniel is a governance and a leadership analyst. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much. Welcome again.
Kiprono Arab Kirwa, CPM, is a political strategist. How are you?
Thank you so much.
It's been a minute since you last came to Good Morning Kenya.
I think it was 2024 during the height of the Gen Z protest.
But karibu sana. We are glad that you are here to contribute to this conversation. Now, let's talk about matters of coalition politics in Kenya. And I'll start with you, Kate. When you look at the journey we've had since 2002 in terms of coalitions that we've had, from where you stand, do you see them have they strengthened democracy, or they have just redefined what one would say is political survival?
Thank you. About the coalition government,
yes.
I would think they are more of strengthening the other, like if you remember during 2022,
yes,
we had two coalitions.
Yes.
We had Kenya Kwanza and we had Azimio.
Yes.
And I think this coalition just comes to strengthen their presidential candidate, and they are brought up because of the numbers and different political views. Yes.
Different political views and numbers. What do you think, Daniel? Is it about democracy or just political survival?
You know, for you to survive in political, you have to have numbers. Politics is all about numbers. So when they are forming a coalition, not everybody has his own interest.
Yes.
Politics is all about interest. And when we come together, you see everybody is coming in this view, so that when we come together, it's strengthening the manifesto. We come together with our manifesto. We'll come together as a nation. At least when you see the Azimio la Umoja, they come together. So many people are together. We're having coast region. So everybody's on board. You know, when we are not together, some people cannot survive in this Kenyan politics because it's tribal. So it's strengthening and also bringing everyone on board.
Bringing everyone on board, but you also brought about the aspect of the tribal card. Yeah. I want to get your views on this. When you look at coalitions that we've had since 2002, what do you think? Is it always about democracy, or people are just looking to survive politically?
Mike, I will say democracy is something that normally comes along the way when the coalitions have already picked. But most of these coalitions are marriage of conveniences. We go back to 2002, we look at the National Rainbow Coalition. The reason why Raila Odinga supported the late President Mwai Kibaki was because they needed to remove Moi from power. So that was a marriage of convenience. That's why you saw in 2005, there was a bitter split between the Raila side and the Kibaki side. And that went also to define the kind of coalitions that were formed in 2007, where you have Kibaki and the government machineries on the other side, and the Mount Kenya billionaires and the mafias. And then you have the late Raila Odinga, William Ruto, Najib Balala, and the company, including John Nyaga. You come to 2013. One of the things that defined 2013 was because there was a marriage of convenience between the former President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto because of the issue of the 2007-2008 post-election violence that led to them going to The Hague. And then we had Raila on the other side, coming from the government side again. In 2017, it was more of the same. President Uhuru was trying to galvanize support for his second term. And in 2022, it was almost the same. You had the government backing Raila and the former president. And you had these people who had been, in quotes, removed from government, led by the president.
Yes, but
coming
what
together.
you're saying is you have called them marriages of convenience.
When you look at the founding principles of most of our coalitions since 2002, is that we do not have principles that stands that somebody will say we have formed this coalition because we want to work for the people of Kenya. It is just to remove personalities from power and to find a way back. It's like monkeys changing the forest. All the same. These people have been the same characters who have been in this political space. They have been in different coalitions. Most of them have migrated political parties for the longest time. So one of the issues that I find with Kenyan coalition is because they do not anchor themselves in Article 91 and 92 of the Constitution and Political Parties Act. That is why you see at some point there will be Peter splits. A good case is because it wasn't a coalition of that nature, but was the marriage between the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and the current president. It was a marriage of convenience because they wanted to wrestle power from President Uhuru. It was not founded on the principles of governance, principles of leadership, and how we will want a future of the country that is at stake.
That is a very strong point, Kate, because one would ask, even as we form coalitions, where is the place of democracy in that? If we are coming together for purposes of convenience and getting power, what is the place of democracy in all that?
As you said, the coalition, I agree with him when he say coalition formed as a marriage of convenience. Like as you can see right now, in our government right now, what our current government and our current politics, it's one united opposition against Kenya Kwanza KK government. And when it comes to that, people do not even focus on the democracy. They focus on removing the other person there. Like right now, you see like united opposition. Like yesterday, we saw Matiang'i, the Linda Mwananchi team going to Matiang'i's office. The other day, we had our former Deputy President Gachagua talking about he's willing to sacrifice so that as united opposition they can come together to remove the KK government in power.
So this is all about taking power.
Yes.
What do you think? Is it really when it comes to ideology, does it really play a big part in all this when it comes to forming coalitions?
Yeah, you see, when it comes to ideology, it really plays a big part in this thing. But the issue is, we know where politics is all about somebody's interest. Let's talk about the truth. So you see, these people, maybe they disagree, like the president and the deputy president. They disagreed on something. And the former deputy president saw that, like, his interests are not there anymore. So when he was fighting for his own interest and maybe the way he was talking about Mlima people, he was kicked out, you see. But this thing is all about bringing everybody together. And when we say about bringing everybody together, it's that when you have your own idea, I have mine, we come together and combine and see how we can move on. But you know, some people are greedy on this thing. Coalitions are the best way to go, but some other people are coming with hidden agendas. Some people are coming there to make wealth, some people are coming to make money. But the main issue of this thing is bringing people together so that the country can move on together. Yeah, that's where the problem is. But as we're moving forward, you see right now, when you see we have the united opposition and the government, where the ODM are coming together with the UDA in future, as we are seeing these things. But the united opposition, even them, they want to come together as the united opposition. But they don't, for now, they have not come up with a good idea to remove the person they are hating, you see? So if we want to, this thing is all about coming together, having ideas, bringing them on board, then they sell to the people, then the people buy it.
every day we have coalitions, and we see them form, and some in most cases they do not finish up to 5 years. Along the way, they split. Why is that? And number two, when forming coalitions, is there consideration of Mwananchi in all this? What does Mwananchi want? What does Mwananchi think? What do you think? What do you say about that?
One of the issues that actually we have with coalitions is because it doesn't last long, because one of the issues that rise along the way is power struggle, where you have somebody like, look at the case of Kibaki and Raila in 2007. After the Grand Coalition government, they came together, but they could not stay beyond 2010, because one of the issues was because the Raila side felt they had a majority in parliament. They needed the lion's share of government and development projects, while at the same time the state was backing Kibaki. So there was that kind of power struggle between the ODM side and the PNU side. This leads to antagonizing one another. And at the end of the day, the people of Kenya loses on that end. And you look at on the issue of the interest of the common people. I doubt no politician goes to politics to assist the common Mwananchi. Because I will speak this. Because I'm in these spaces. I'm in these spaces because look at, for example, in 2022, Rigathi Gachagua told the people of Kenya that we're going to government. We found empty coffers. In the affidavits of the Secretary to the Cabinet, Masi Wanjau, and other sources, during his impeachment proceeding, he was found guilty by Parliament of having meddled on procurement process of the nets. So one of the issues that happen is that politicians go there to get rich. And that is one of the issues that we have as the people of Kenya. Look at for the case of the members of parliament, not even coalitions alone. Members of parliament spend huge money in campaigns. They spend more than 100 million, which they already don't have. That is why when they come to Nairobi, one of the issues that they are going to make it a first priority is to meddle on NGCDF contract, despite the national government CDF being a separate entity that they are just supposed to patronize. But they are going to meddle in the contracts, they are going to award cronies so that they can get kickbacks. That is why one of the issues that we need to revisit as a country is the structure in which we form our coalition. But on the positive side of it, coalitions gives voices to those people who do not have voices, because we must agree that our politics are local. Our politics are decided by tyranny of numbers. When we have tyranny of numbers, what is it going to happen to a Turkana somewhere in Lodwar who doesn't have numbers? So this coalition brings together small parties to form a larger conglomeration of parties, which will assist, at least on the positive side, to raise the voices of these people and give a hope for those people who have been marginalized for long. But I doubt, if you read Niccolo Machiavelli, the prince, no politician goes to politics to serve the interest of the family. That is why we will be back to the same circle. Even this Linda Mwananchi group that is saying, who told you that? So one of the issues, as I end on this, is that we, the people of Kenya, must be in a position to make a decision, to make a unanimous decision, because the future of this country is at stake. The politicians keep recycling themselves.
But keep recycling themselves. Keep recycling themselves. Who is electing these politicians?
It is with the people. And
so
one of the issues,
to blame?
We are to blame ourselves, because we have been socialized with that kind of a behavior since 1963. It's a socialized aspect. That is why when young people came out in 2024 to say no to government, you can see Mzee, someone who is like 60 years old, coming to say, young people, you don't know anything. And we are trying to correct generational mistakes that they have had since 1963. It's a behavior that has been socialized in the society. Look at the case. Politicians keep shifting goalposts. In 2022, they were telling us we want a united Kenya, right? Today, another one is speaking about Mlima. Another one is speaking about dividing the Kipsigis forts. I heard the former deputy president say he is going to divide 50-50 Kipsigis forts with President Ruto. Where does Kipsigis and Mlima comes in this conversation? It's actually trying to bring back the tribal narrative so that we can have a narrative of 42 against 1.
That's a whole different conversation. But there's this question I am having. When you look at political parties and the coalitions that we've had or we have,
yes.
Coming together of political parties, is it a reflection of inability to develop a broad national appeal and get support on their own when you look at political parties? Does it reflect their inability to make it a national appeal and get numbers?
When you look at our current and the history of our political affairs, so you'll come and see that this political coalition is formed by these people so that they can be a bit united, because they believe, as we say, one is, as one, they cannot fight against the others. As you're asking, the inability to be, they cannot be much more powerful. So they come together so that they can be a bit strong, and that they can at least be able to drive a narrative home as the larger community. Let me just use it as a larger community.
As a larger community.
Yes.
What do you think, Daniel? Can a political party be able to entrench its ideology alone at the national level?
It cannot happen because, you know, in Kenya, let's talk about the truth. We have regional kingpins. You see, like Rigathi Gachagua is saying is the kingpin of Mlima. When you go to Coast, they are talking about Ali Hassan Joho and many others. When you come to Nyanza, we had Raila Amolo Odinga, who tried to be a national leader as a one person who was very powerful, but very unfortunate. So in this thing, people trust their own people. That's what's happening in Kenya. I cannot trust you with all my faith and power and give you, and yet you are not from my community. You see, that's what is happening in Kenya. So it's very hard for a party to come and stand alone in its own view and sell its policy. Mostly 99% it cannot happen because it's depend on national tribals. Everybody has its own kingpin, and everybody, you know, politics is grassroots. When you want to be national, I at my backyard back home, me, I'm talking to the people on the ground level. So for you to convince my people, you have to talk to me, and I go and convince them. That's what is happening. But when you come alone, you cannot communicate with us. Like, let's say you want to be a national, you have your own party, and you want to stand alone. You cannot go to Turkana and convince that show there who doesn't have a TV na internet. You cannot come there and convince
why is it so hard to convince them? Aren't you selling your ideas, your agenda?
You are selling your agendas, and you have your interests for this country. But you cannot convince these people because, you know, in this country, the country is big, and every corner has different challenges. The challenges we are having in Nyanza or we are having in Mlima is not the same challenges we are having in Turkana. And for you to understand these challenges, you have to go there, take your time, talk to those people, understand what they are going through. And because we don't have this time, Kenya is big, it will take you a lot of time. So you will have to go and look for somebody there to help you convince these people so that they can give you their support. And so that's why standing alone is 100% impossible.
So does it mean that political parties are national on paper, but when it comes to practice, it's a whole different ballgame?
I will beg to differ with my good friend here because we have had success stories of political parties in this country that have had national outlook, that have brought a lot of people together.
Yeah.
You know, you see the Jubilee of 2017. Yeah. It was a conglomerate of parties that came together to form Jubilee. It didn't mean that was a Mount Kenya party. We had people from Rift Valley, we had people from West, and we had also some from Nyanza, the lower side of Nyanza here. And then we have the UDA of 2022. One of the issues that actually happens with political parties is that they have ability to stand for themselves. The only issue that is there is the constitutional threshold on how to capture power. You need a 50+1. And one of the issues that comes with these political parties is that ODM has tried. ODM is a national party, it's not a Luo Nyanza party. But it has tried to capture power several times, and they cannot meet the 50+1 threshold. They are always the minority side in parliament. Then for you to win an election, you have to be the majority side in parliament at least, and get 50+1. Getting that 50+1 means you have to invite other small parties, those regional kingpins he's talking about, to have a discussion about how to capture power, but rather not an ideological discussion on how we can get Kenya to the next step. Yes.
Why is it so hard? So is there something that political parties are lacking in as far as making that national appeal is concerned?
Political parties can make national appearance. One of the issues that we have is that our politics are tribal. They are so local. So when you look at party like ODM, for example, let me use because it's a success story. ODM has been there since 2007, and it has been a national party. But all that time, they have been surviving on coalitions. They have not been able to capture power since after 2007 general election, since after the Grand Coalition government, and they have not been able to capture power because being a national party, they cannot meet the 50+1 threshold that I was saying. And it is because our politicians have bad characters. Politicians will come during an electioneering period, come and speak to me as Kiprona Rapkiro and tell me, by the way, we need a college in unity. We need to unite behind this person. The person that we're supposed to unite under is because he's our son. That is nothing ideological that they are speaking about. It's because he speaks the same language. The Mtwetu culture that we're saying. So one of the issues that is here is we need to have a country where we have two main political parties. Because when you go to the registrar of political parties here in Westlands, you have more than 93 political parties. And sometimes you wonder, most of these, 80% of these political parties get public funding from the taxpayers' money, and you don't see how they spend. The transparency of these political parties is also, these are just briefcase. UDA without President Ruto, there is no political party. ODM without the Odinga family, there is no political party there. That is why you see ODM is splitting left, right, and center after the departure of Honorable Raila. Wiper without Kalonzo Musyoka, there is no party. DCP without the impeached deputy president, there is no party there. What we have to discuss as a people, and especially the next generation of leaders, is how are we able to have zero tolerance on tribalism in every space. It is not only political, because it points down to, when it is political, it goes to economic aspect of it and social aspect of it.
Yes. Kate, what do you think? Do coalitions break because the agreements that they negotiated were negotiated but never implemented as expected?
Coalition break because of selfish interests of the party leaders in the coalition. Because everyone, as he said, if you read Niccolo Machiavelli, the prince, they say every politician doesn't come for a politician will come to you because of their own selfish interest. That's why there's a difference between a politician and a leader. A leader is to serve, a politician is to serve their own interest or the interest of their other people. And that's what brings the coalition to break, because when they were creating that coalition, they come up with they had that marriage of convenience. But when they start now working together, they realize, oh, we agreed I do this, we agreed I'll get this, we agreed I'll get this. And when it comes to that, no, you find some people are very selfish, they serve only themselves. And the someone who is, let's say, like the lesser parties or the people who are not so powerful in that coalition, they end up being neglected. And that brings up the breakup of the
You've said
coalition.
something very important, difference between politicians and leaders. When you look at how Kenyans vote, do they vote for leaders or politicians, from where you stand?
Since 1963, when they started voting, our our forefathers and our fathers, they have been voting for politicians. And that's why you see us like the Gen Zs now, we want to change that. Because us, we want leaders, we don't want politicians. Because a politician is there to serve themselves. But as a leader is there to serve the other people and the needs of the larger Kenyans. Yes.
All right. You know, Daniel, in countries like Germany, coalition agreements often come with detailed policy programs and priorities on areas of governance. When you look at Kenya's coalitions, they are usually criticized about revolving about personality. We are going to explore that when we come back from this short break, because there's a question there I need us to explore. Stay with us.
Nice. Let's now welcome Team DGDA.
Pain, heavy bleeding, and silent suffering.
Being married for long, you're supposed to see children and they're not coming.
For millions of women, this is the reality of living with uterine fibroids.
I have had the opportunity of removing a 7-kilogram fibroid.
But a groundbreaking non-invasive treatment is bringing hope.
We can treat the lesion within the uterus, leaving the uterus and also the skin and also the pathway to the uterus completely intact.
This week on Health and Lifestyle, we shine a light on one of the most common yet often misunderstood women's health conditions.
Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Kenya. This is Entertainment Thursday. The segment on here is Future Voices, and we are dealing with matters of coalition politics. Now, before we went on a break, Daniel, I was saying in countries like Germany, when it comes to matters of coalition, the agreements come with detailed programs and governing priorities. But when you look at Kenya, coalitions have been accused to revolve around a personality. From where we stand, what would it take for coalitions in this country to become genuinely ideology-driven?
You know, in Kenya, if we want our coalitions to be genuinely and for them to deliver, we should give them time. You know, in Kenyan politics, Kenyans are not patient, but you know, some parties are very principled, some coalition are very principled and focused with what they want to do. Like when you see the current government, the president has only served only 3 years, 4 years, and we are already jumping up and down, 1 term, I don't know, 2 term. So you know, this thing, if you would have given the president this term alone, 5 years, quietly watching, seeing, and then we judge after 5 years, it could have been better. So now you see, he's trying. When the president was campaigning, he talked about affordable housing, mama mboga pate nyumba, mtu wa boda boda. And when we sit down, when you look at this thing keenly, he's trying to deliver. But some people are not patient. They cannot give him time. If you see, he has only served for 3 years, but he has already built Atlanta Stadium. When they are coming in the coalition back in 2013 with Uhuru Kenyatta, they talked about stadium in every county, if you can remember. They talked about every stadium. But Uhuru never built any stadium, national event like this one. But the president is in only 3 years has already built a national stadium like Atlanta Stadium. We are having housing in at least each and every county and every constituency is trying to build something. Those are what he said when he was campaigning. But Kenyans are saying, oh, we have not given him time. Oh, he is touching our pay slip. And you know, when you want to grow as a country, you have to pay for it. The country cannot grow and we cannot have affordable housing if we are not contributing for these houses. Where will the money come from? We have to deep down in our pocket, give the ruling party time and judge after every 5 years. That's what Kenyans should do, and we need to do that thing.
Based on what Daniel is saying, is it that Kenyans are given high hopes and high expectations, then when it does not happen based on their expectations, they complain, so to speak?
Kenyan politics first is a conglomeration of cartels that want to loot and do their own business interest. Because I'm looking at the Kenya Kwanza of 2022 because I'm interested in it. I participated in signing the youth charter. And all of a sudden, we are here having a conversation of the Peter split with the deputy president and other MPs moving out and forming DCP and so on and so forth. One of the issues that happens with the politics in Kenya is it's not even about the people. The people could be able to judge, because if you go back to a village in Kericho, if you go back to a village in Bomet or Nandi, they're able to see that there is a market being constructed in Kapkwen. There is an affordable housing project being constructed in Sotik. There is an aggregated industrial park being constructed in Sotik. Those are the priorities of the Kenya Kwanza government. But you will find the fact that there are people who are singing 1 term or maybe 2 term for that matter because their interests are met. One of the issues that we have not anchored our politics on delivering so much the promises of the people. We have anchored our politics on who is that person, what does he do, where does he want to take us as a community. Because looking at what is happening, my good friend here has spoken about something that has been, if you read carefully the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto of 2022, you will find the National Infrastructure Fund anchored in it. You'll find housing, you'll find stadiums. Most of these things that are happening, including Asla Fund that was given out, is what was given to that was sold to the people of Kenya. But why is the majority of the people of Kenya today saying President Ruto will go 1 term? It is because he has not satisfied a quarter of cartels.
When you say these cartels, what are these cartels you're talking about?
I'm speaking about powerful machinations that want businesses to go their way. People that want to inflate procurement processes so that they can be in a position to create wealth. Because looking at that case of 2024, November, against the former deputy president, you could note one thing. There was a surge in his wealth, according to the affidavits that were presented before the National Assembly. I'm just giving an example. There was a surge in his wealth. When you ask him to explain, okay, where did he get this money in 3 years with a salary
almost
of 1
5 billion?
We've had CSs who go for vetting, and they are asked the sources of wealth.
It's more of the same, because they use proxies. One of the issues in this country is that we have not had a serious fighter on the crime of corruption, because most of these cabinet secretaries and the PSS use proxies to run contracts in state departments. That's why if you open this newspaper and there is a contract that has been advertised, it reserved. It's not for the youth, not for the women, not for the marginalized community, but it has been reserved without necessary explanation that, okay, it has been reserved for youth or women because of this and this. So what I'm saying is this. One of the issues that we have in this country, and we are not going to learn as a people, we are back to where we were in 2007. If you look at the speeches of the leaders, the leading leaders, put those in government and in opposition, they are trying to rally their communities back to their standings. And you look at that and you're like, in this country, we have more than 42 tribes. We have these 42 tribes, as I finish on this, these 42 tribes need a peaceful country. We need a development that's happening in the country. But what I want to tell the people of Kenya is that sooner or later, we're going to get young people who are going to be good leaders. Let's just pray that after 2027 and 2032, the Nyayo era politicians will have gone. One of the issues that we have, one of the biggest issues we have in this country is the Nyayo era politicians and the Nyayo orphans who have held us hostage. Once a generational transition takes place, which I see is in 2032, we're going to have a new Kenya.
You wanted to contribute on that?
You know, when my friend is talking about young leaders and Gen Z leaders, the way you are saying it, you should have to know that politics is very expensive. As me, I'm vying for the Imbo East Ward MCA back in my home. It's something very expensive that young people cannot afford it. You have to go deep down in your pocket, you have to campaign, you have to brand yourself. And even these people, they are used to handouts. Kama hujawapea chao utakwambia wewe kwenda utaanguka. You see? These are real. We should not pretend. We should talk about the truth. So I want to say, if Kenyans want good leadership, they should wacha na mambo ya hongo. You have to pay something, you have to give them chai.
That was introduced by Nyayo Offers.
Yes,
so
but
that is what saying we are going to have a generational transition. When you see what is happening actually with the Linda Mwananchi faction of Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino, like we need to have a culture in this country that politicians are requesting for funding from the public, like what is happening, just a minute, my friend, like what is happening in the United States. Because once we have someone launching a public pay bill saying, I want to campaign, I want to run for this seat, and Kenyans believe in their ideologies like the way Edwin Sifuna is trying to do.
Even Maraga has done that.
Yes, and one of the issues, those who believe in the ideologies will contribute rather than people digging down to their pockets. You see, my good friend here is fighting for MCA. He has given a good example. If he wins and he has spent 3 million shillings, the people of that ward will not see him for the next 5 years because
you cannot purport to know what will happen after
I assume the people of that ward will not see him for 5 years because.
Why are you guessing?
I'm not. I'm looking at the behavior. I'm looking at the behavior of the politicians.
No, you cannot base that on because you never know if it's a good or bad. Now let's continue this conversation. Now the issue of accountability.
No, I have one question, please. I'm asking my friend here and fellow Kenyans who are on the Linda Wananchi side and contributing. The Sifuna introduced the pay bill almost 3 days ago. But if you can see at that portal, they have only raised 2 million Kenyan shillings.
It is because not many Kenyans believe in him.
Relax. Let me ask.
I want to listen to his question so that I can answer him on that.
You see, we have contributed only 2 million Kenyan shillings. And Sifuna is portraying himself as a national leader. Yes. What can 2 million shillings do? Even if you say, let's go to Garissa. Let
me ask a question. Is it an indication that Kenyans would fund a campaign of a candidate they want to be a leader? Is it an indication, regardless of who is asking for this funding, regardless of where they belong? Is it an indication that this can happen?
They cannot fund anybody.
No, you're not answering the question. Is it an indication that it can happen?
I don't believe in it. Cannot.
Do you think it's an indication that it can happen?
Yes. Like as we have seen in the United States, politicians they don't fund their campaigns. They are funded by the public. Yes. And here in Kenya, we have seen it. Like the way you have said, Sifuna opened his 3 days ago, already has 2.2 million. But before he made it public, we do not know. Maybe other Kenyans have been helping him to fund their campaign. When?
Let her execute her
It's not a must. You use your own money so that you can go and campaign. You can ask even the well-wishers. There are people who feel like they are philanthropic enough to help you fund your campaign. without expecting anything, just because they have listened to your manifesto, they have listened to what you are bringing on the table, and they have seen what you have to bring to the people of Kenya.
Let me ask you another question, Kit. When you look at what's the example that has just been given, and what the former CAJ Maraga has tried to do to have Kenyans fund political campaigns, have we come of age of that aspect where now people can decide, you know what, this is what we want to do? We do away with the kind of tokenism we see in every campaign trail. Have we come of age to deal with that?
Yes. As I told you, people right now they're not looking for politicians. They're looking for leaders. And that's why they are willing to fund them. So that, because they know the politicians have the financial muscles.
Yes.
But the leaders do not have that financial muscles that is required for you to be able to campaign. And because of that, that's why you see people are willing to fund their leaders so that they can go up there and represent them and fight for them.
And there's the issue of accountability and governance when it comes to these coalitions. You know, coalition governments can create broader representation, but there is also blood responsibility when it comes to policies. If policies succeed or fail, within our Kenyan context, when you look at coalition politics, have they strengthened accountability or made it more difficult for the people or citizens to know who should be held responsible?
When it comes to accountability in coalitions, it becomes a bit difficult because, as we said, in those coalitions, everybody has their own selfish ideas. So you'll find someone who has been given this task, instead of being accountable, they now want to blame the other people there because there are many. You see, like, let's say in I'll give an example at our home. You'll find, like, tapata mtoto amekula skari, but because there are two, they'll say, si mimi, si mimi, si mimi. That's now where the accountability of coalition now lacks. Yeah, because there's that blame game. Because we are many, it was not they'll blame each other. There's a bit of blame game. So,
Daniel, yes,
no,
your point.
that's okay.
Accountability in governance, and when you look at how coalitions behave around the issue of accountability, do they enhance it, really?
You know, people like blame games, but accountability should be there, and everybody should carry his or her own cross, because when you come to a coalition, when you are holding a position, if you are the president, you are the president, you see? And if you are the deputy president, you are the deputy president, regardless of where you came from, or the position, or the party you are coming from. So everybody should serve the people. Accountability should be there. That's when you see somebody is trying to work at least so that he can do something or outshine other people's. He's being fought. Because, you know, we have lazy people there in the government. Some people are just there, they don't even go to the offices. They are just elected, they potea code US. So this thing, that's accountability is what brings the difference in this thing. Because when I'm serving my people with my own principles, some people will see that, ujamaa tukuelewana hivi, you see, that was bring the difference. But some of them are trying.
Some of them are trying. And, you know, we have several coalitions that have collapsed. They don't go all the way to the fifth year, but because of disagreements, especially when it comes to matters of power sharing arrangements. Where do you think the emphasis lies? Is it do these coalitions place too much emphasis on sharing political position and neglect on agreeing on common development strategies?
One of the issues with these coalitions is the fact that it is informed by tribal affiliation. And the tribes that are at the back of a leader keeps pushing that leader for their interests. So, like, do this, we want these roads, we want Mau Mau roads, we want these roads here. So one of the things that happen is on the process of accountability in coalitions, even in the future coalitions, we need a clear constitutional framework. that tell us what's happened in the event that we do not agree anymore in the same coalition. Do we dissolve parliament and go for fresh elections? Because one of the issues is that we do not have consequences of breaking the coalition agreements. If, as a country, we go for a constitutional moment and we agree and say, if the coalitions do not work, it is better we dissolve parliament, we go seek, parliament goes and seek fresh mandate from the people so that we can see the government might be the minority side and the opposition could be the majority side. That is when we can be able to make progress as a country. Because, I mean, change is a process, not an event. But with the future that is beckoning, we are looking into a future where we need to anchor our politics on more on ideologies. What are you offering the people? And that is what's actually happening when you see the opposing factions of ODM. It's actually speaking about the future that we are ready. That we are looking into a future where it's not about myself, but again, it's about the people. And as I end on this, I will say, strongest democracies flourish from frequent and lively debates, but they endure when people of every background, be it you are Edwin Sifuna Babu, we know any person, find a way to set aside smaller differences they have in service for greater purpose.
And you know, Kate, historically, coalitions, when you look at how coalitions operate, or every time, especially towards elections, that's when they intensify coalition negotiations. But beyond the personalities, likely to dominate even headlines, are there indicators that Kenyans can look out for to determine whether these coalitions that will be emerging towards 2027 now will be built on principle or political convenience? Are there indicators that Kenyans should look out for to determine that this is, you know what, this is political convenience, but this is principle?
As we have seen in the history, and as we have seen in the recent politics, these coalitions, they are pushed together so that these people can fight against, like let's say, like the current government. Like you see the other, right now, like all the opposition, they have come together just to fight one government. They do not have that principles like they have, this is our principle, this is what we'll do, this is what we'll do, this is what we'll do. They are only coming together to fight one thing. Although that is a good thing, that is bringing, like, we are together, we come together as one force to fight one, because they feel like if they are together, they are stronger against one, which they think, like right now, if the united opposition, the opposition were not united, it will be very hard for them to be able to rally their opinions to Kenyans, because everyone, they love their own values. Like you look at several of them, everybody has their own principles and values, but they come together just to be able to fight like one. Yes.
So theirs is about political convenience.
Yes.
It's reading political convenience.
Yes.
What do you think? What should Kenyans look? What indicators should Kenyans look at?
First, Kenyans should look for somebody who's genuine. But you know, mostly of these politicians, they are pretenders. When they are seeking for election, they pretend they are genuine. But mostly, we should look for the manifesto, the ideology of somebody, how he articulates his own things, how he talks. You know, these things, we have so many things that people should be looking at.
Yes.
You see, when these politicians, even when they are coming, sometimes they even support people. They pay school fees, they help single mothers and the mama wajane.
We are in that era.
Even if you look at right now, my MCA right back then is doing wonders. But for the last 4 years, he was nowhere to be seen. But Kenyans should look for somebody. And Kenyans, you know, the problem is, Kenyans are the ones who are bringing this problem. It's only that we don't want to speak the truth, to talk the truth. When somebody is campaigning and is genuine, Kenyans want something, you know. You cannot go and talk to people for free. They will not listen to you. And this thing is the one that is pushing people, somebody who was genuine, when you spend your own money, you go and take loan, you campaign, you do this and that. When you assume power, you have to repay back the loan. That's the truth. That Kenyans are the ones who are pushing politicians to that corner to do those things.
But I think we need to dedicate time to just talk about those issues of politics and money involved. Indicators as we close.
I would want to say, as we go to the future, as the people of Kenya, we need someone who is going to tell us what is the alternative to the social health insurance fund. What is the alternative to the universal funding model of the education? What is the alternative to the markets that are being constructed? What is the alternative to the housing that is being constructed? What's the alternative to Talanta Stadium? Unless we have such a person, which I doubt we don't have, because one of the biggest issues I have with the people in opposition is that apart from saying Kasongo, Ruto must go,
you have not answered my question. I'm asking, what are the indicators that Kenyans should look at when we are these coalitions are being formed as we head into 2027?
I'm saying that I'm answering that question. That is why I spoke about what Kenyans should be able to ask from the opposition. I was in the process of answering that question. So what we need to ask the people is that they need to tell us, without saying I come from this place first, because basis of tribal politics, we have already lost it. If we base our politics on tribalism, we have already lost it. You need to tell us what are the alternatives to all these things as you seek to replace Dr. William Ruto in State House. If you don't tell us that, then the people of Kenya better stick to the Kenya Kwanza manifesto of 2022. But as we go to the future, I've spoken about the Nyayo orphans. As we go to the future that we are going, be it in 2032 or 2027, is that we are going to a future where we are getting rid of the Nyayo orphans from public offices. And the new generation of young people who are in the streets in 2024 will be the one to deck the mantle of leadership. So there is a hope for the future. But as a country,
hope for the future.
There is a hope for the future. But as a country, we look forward to, of course, a peaceful election. And I will want to ask that we base our elections on ideologies rather than saying Kasongo or Ruto must go and one tap, because it will not help, it will not bring food to the table, it will not develop infrastructure.
Kenya should go for ideas.
Kenya should go for ideas.
I wish we had more time. I know you want to say, but that was our time. I wanted to close that discussion at that, and thank you so much. Daniel Oduor Obeto, who is a governance and leadership analyst. Umesema una itisha kitu gani?
MCA Imbo Eastward.
Wapi?
Imbo Eastward.
Imbo Eastward iko?
Kosea County Bondo constituency. Yeah.
Kit Mutizo, thank you so much. You're going for?
I'm going for woman representative in Machakos County.
Machakos County.
Very nice.
Yes. Oh, very well. Keep on.
First of all, I'm not going for any seat, but I'm campaigning for the government.
Thank you so much for making time. Thank you so much for making time. That was our time on this segment of Future Voices, and we end it at now. Vivian Dego is up next with Entertainment Thursday. Stay with us. My name is Mike Megwe.
Mkulima wa wiki hii ni mwanamke bomba aliyejitosa katika kilimo biashara.
Chakula yao ya kwanza tunapatia saa 12 asubuhi. Ya pili tunawapatia saa 6 mchana. Alafu ikienda kidogo mpaka saa 9 hivi saa 11 tunafunga mambo ya chakula. Lakini maji inaenda throughout. Kwa sababu kuku ni maji.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 tuangazie ufugaji wa kuku na faida zake.
My name is Catherine, and in April I was in a program called Kelele Comics, and my group and I made a comic called Behind the World Swiss Bag.
As I was walking in the library today, I found a book that has its alphabet dedicated to Africa. Yes, the book is for Africa.
Funny frogs flip fast for 5 flies.
And today I'm going to show you how to make dumplings.
Vita sasa ni vya nini? Vurugu misitaki.
Mbona mtu afanye hivyo?
Hii information niliyokupa isitoke hapa. Ni mimi na wewe.
Ni wewe mwanamke anaishi wapi? Twende tukamfunze adabu.
Unamwachia Mungu.
Tunaanza kufanana, manake sisi sio rahisi. Tuamini watu hivi hivi.
Hodi hapa.
Kwangu sikaribishi maadui na wasaliti.
Utakuwa na gari. Natusubiri hapo. So tutakuja na hawa wawili tunaweka ndani.
Na wewe ukishikwa.
Mbundu chichi. Hey.
Ili jambo lisikutatize kabisa.
Hello Chief Matata.
Fanya vile ambavyo tulipanga, sawa? Cassandra.
Kama kuna kitu ninacho leo ni muda.
Ikiwa unataka kujihusisha na siasa, hiyo shauri yako.
Nitajihusisha na nitasupport.
Cassandra.